At 5, weather whiplash from heavy snow to slush. Radar still shows lingering snow in northern Indiana around Fort Wayne.
Here at home, though, INDOT cameras show traffic moving easily on the interstates. There are still some slick spots. The concern now is if the drop in temperatures will cause the wet roads to freeze. Chief Meteorologist Ashley Brown joining us now. It's been about 24 hours since you've been following this thing when we first talked to the folks at home last night.
And yesterday, you know, when we were chatting, I said temperatures are key here. Temperatures. And the problem is the pavement temperatures just didn't drop. We received heavy snow, and if you drive out, you'll notice because you'll see all the ponding and puddling that's happening. That's not something that normally happens with snow. That happens when snow melts. So melting snow out there is what we'll call it after a morning of heavy snow moving over the area. Most locations I did pick up around 3 to 6 inches is the range. Indy closer to that 3. We promised you near 4, so we were a little off, but definitely on the low end of those totals as expected. As we look north of Interstate 70, still some flurries flying here. This event is pretty much over with as far as snow falling. We'll see scattered flurries, but that will not add to the totals. I also promised you this, that we will look live in Carmel today and it will be snow covered. It absolutely is. The streets are damp as we have ponding from melting snow. And every hour that we move forward, we just continue to melt it away. Our temperatures have not dropped below the freezing mark today. Road temperatures, same story. As we look at some locations north where we see the heavier snowfall amounts that are on the ground, it's north where road temperatures are at 26 in Sheridan, 29 for Fishers, 33 for Indianapolis. That's melting. We're melting as we speak, 34 for Greenwood. So those warmer road temperatures an issue for us right now. And as we go throughout the overnight hours, you'll see temperatures fall. We're at 34 right now. Air temperatures and road temperatures fall. I think we'll deal with isolated slick spots on the roadways late tonight, but not a widespread issue because the numbers not falling too far. We're going to drop down to the upper 20s and low 30s tonight. Isolated slick spots for the morning commute and the chance for flurries tomorrow afternoon. We're going to track snow chances and cold air this week coming up.
Ashley, thank you. We have team coverage tonight. Our crews are across central Indiana as areas feel the impact of the winter storm.
Let's start with the roads first. More than half of the state is either under a travel advisory or watch. Officials say Marion County will remain under an advisory. That's the yellow on the map through the evening rush hour. Let's go to News 8's Katira Winfrey and Mobile News Tracker. How are things looking where you are right now, Katira?
Well, Drew, I can say that people must be heeding that travel advisory because typically around this time you start to see a lot of backup. And right now you don't see a whole lot of cars on the road. Right now I'm at Allisonville at 82nd Street. I'm going to turn us. As you can see, we are at the light right now, but typically during this time of the day, you'll see a lot of congestion started forming with people on their way heading home. Now, typically, this is my route into work, and every time it snows, it's such a terrible drive because the ice or the snow rather gets packed down. It's not smooth. You start feeling a lot of slipping and sliding. So if you look around right now, you'll see a total turnaround from what the conditions were like this morning around 9:30, 10 o'clock on my drive in. Coming to a complete stop was a challenge, trying to go again, but just smooth sailing. And so now that we've actually turned onto Allisonville, you can see the roads are clear. Not a lot of cars, as Ashley mentioned in her report just a few moments ago. In certain spots, you can see some of that ponding and that pooling on the sides of the road. But also as you're driving, if you do decide to venture out, that heavy snow has caused a few branches to come down. I've seen just driving down Allisonville, a little bit of branches starting to jut out into the street. Not enough to cause any major problems, but if you get too close to that side, if you get too close to the side, you may run the risk of it scraping your tires, scraping your car. But again, a total turnaround from just how bad those conditions were this morning. And we're going to keep on driving down and hopefully bring you some updates and keep bringing you good news that these roads are getting better and better. For now, I'll send it back to you all.
Tira, thank you very much. Be safe out there. Let's up north to Hamilton County now with Richard Essex. Richard.
Well, Hamilton County is under a travel watch, which means that they are asking people to stay home, just travel to and from work and for emergency type situations. That is supposed to give the state, county, and local plows a chance to get out and clear these streets. Now, the emergency management people told me a little while ago that they expect that watch to be downgraded to an advisory sometime tonight, but they are still cautioning drivers to be careful when they're out.
I'm sure that we're going to drop our watch back to an advisory until the crews can get cleaned up, and then we'll probably leave that on overnight just because of the potential for slick spots on bridges and overpasses.
Slush, the dirty cousin of snow, is the main obstacle facing these 3 state snow plows. The trucks loaded with salt with their plows lowered to the pavement cleared the intersection with ease. Shane Booker, the executive director of the Hamilton County Emergency Management Center, says his people will be keeping an eye on slush potentially becoming ice.
Some of the larger drainage culverts, a lot of people don't see that as the potential like it would be a bridge. So there's always the chance of that freezing up just like a bridge would.
Hamilton County, for the most part, escaped serious roadway issues with this snow event. The county has a meteorologist, and they consult with the National Weather Service. They kept adjusting the forecast through the night and into the morning rush hour. Though the snow amounts may not have been what everyone expected, Booker cautions people to not ignore future weather events.
Obviously, we're focused on what's happening here on the ground. But, if we have dry layers that come in or, warm layers that can come in, that's going to change that forecast. And winter weather is the hardest to predict. So we do ask people to kind of keep up their guard. And we know that the last 2 have been not to what we thought they were going to be. But at the same time, it's really kind of a blessing in disguise.
As the snowplows have been pushing all of this slushy snow to the side, the emergency management people are a little concerned that there could be some ponding. And as the temperatures start to drop tonight, that some of that ponding will start to freeze. State Road 32 that runs through the county is for the most part clear. 31 that runs north and south through the county. We have noticed the speeds are pretty much at what you would expect, normal speed. People appear to be going a little more cautiously. Emergency management people here in Hamilton County say that they're going to lower the advisory to an advisory tonight, but they still caution people to be careful when you're driving. In Hamilton County, Richard Essex, Wish TV, back to you in the studio.
All right, Richard, thank you. All good to know. Now we want to bring in our crew south of the metro area. Johnson County improved its travel status to the lowest level alert this afternoon. News 8's Camila Fernandez is there right now. Camila, that area looks a lot different than it did this morning.
Hey, Drew, that's right. And as you can see, I'm in downtown Greenwood. Streets have been cleared. There is some slush. I spoke with a business owner and a couple of residents, and they say the amount of snowfall wasn't too bad.
It's no big deal. It really isn't. If you live here, you should be prepared for something like this.
For a lot of business owners, the snow hasn't stopped them from opening shop. In downtown, the owner of A-Trains, Les Jarrett, says he's seen worse.
We've had more, but it's, there's no blowing and drifting. The sidewalk's easy to clear. I mean, unless you're disabled or something and just can't get around, you're fine.
All he needed was a broom and the right boots to clear the sidewalk.
If you own a business, you clean your sidewalk.
The heavy and wet snow was perfect for making a snowman or having a snowball fight with friends. But for some, clearing snow outside their homes was not as easy.
I knew it was going to be really wet and hard to move because my granddaughter, who lives with me, had already started building a snowman out back. So that was kind of an indication it was going to be hard to move. No, it's a good workout. Don't have to go to the gym today.
Steve Feeney says the weather conditions presented some challenges.
I started out using a snowblower, but once I saw how heavy it was and it wasn't ejecting from the chute, that I more or less just used it as a plow because it wasn't operating because of the density and the wetness of the snow.
He says overall, the snowfall isn't too bad.
What they were talking about was a lot more intense and going to be a little bit more challenging to drive in, but this seems like it's going to be gone. If the weather holds 24, 48 hours, it'll be clear pavement.
I've seen a number of drivers pass by, but the Johnson County Sheriff's Office wants to remind people to avoid hazardous situations, be watchful of them, and avoid those areas all around. In Greenwood, Camila Fernandez, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
All right, Camila, thank you very much.
Well, let's bring in Cody Fisher, who's live in Kokomo. Hey, Cody.
Hey guys, yeah, the snow is still actually coming down up here in Kokomo, but as you can see, it's still pretty light at this point in time, but it was much heavier earlier, and you can still see that difference out here on the streets. We're over here at the corner of Webster Street and Somerset, and the difference that you're seeing here is this is the secondary street. This is a neighborhood street, and this is how heavy the snow was coming down earlier. It's still accumulated out there on the main street, which is Webster Street. It is very clear, and road crews here in Kokomo tell me that there is a reason why the main street is plowed and the secondary street is not.
We've got 22 trucks out right now.
Those 22 trucks have to clear 339 road miles in Kokomo.
It's business as usual. This one, it was helpful that it was a wet snow.
Snowstorms are not just for work. They're also for play.
When I was a kid, we used to be able to come out here and do this.
Diane Howard says she left work early just to be able to come sledding with her 4-year-old granddaughter.
This is amazing. This is probably the best part of having kids and getting grandkids.
As kids continue to enjoy the snow day, road crews say they're tactically targeting the main streets.
After we get those clean, after the snow quits this afternoon, then we'll jump into the secondaries.
All right, Cody, thank you. We want to head now to the near north side of Indianapolis with Jasmine Miner. Jasmine.
Well, hey, Phil. Yeah, downtown Indianapolis here on Meridian Street looking pretty good. Roads are clear, and that meant business as usual for the Wheeler Mission Shelter, I should say. And in fact, they actually have open spaces for people in need right now. They've been crediting that to local organizations who really stepped up to boost the housing system during the pandemic.
365, 7 days a week, all year, every year. We don't, ever have any off days.
No days off for those lending a helping hand.
In weather like this, we just have a whole bunch of guys here all the time.
William Bumpus is the director of the Men's Emergency Shelter at Wheeler Mission. He says capacity is about 400 people, but right now they're sitting around 320.
The guys that we see now are just new guys coming into the system, new guys entering into homelessness. So, our main goal is to try to get them in a position to end their homelessness in the best way they can.
He credits the lower numbers to the boom of initiatives taken by local organizations to create more housing during the pandemic. Still, he says there's more work to do.
We're sending a lot of guys out, and some guys are getting housed, but as many as we're sending out and housing, we have that many coming in.
He tells me most of the men here will be staying the night as the shelter provides movies, books, and Bible studies, along with, of course, a warm place to be.
They'll do a game night, or they'll do a sock giveaway or something like that.
Fortunately, the snow is already melting.
The biggest thing is just making sure we have the capacity to take on anyone who needs shelter services during this weather.
Well, if you would like to volunteer for Wheeler Mission, they're always looking for some extra help. Or if you know someone in need looking for a place to stay tonight, just head to our story online right now at wishtv.com where we've got some more information for you. I'm Jasmine Miner for Wish TV. I'll send it to you guys back in the studio.
Great, Jasmine. Thank you. Our coverage continues online. You can grab your phone and scan this QR code we just posted on the screen. That takes you to our As Seen On section of wishtv.com. There you can find the latest on travel advisories, closings, and all of our other coverage on this storm.